Okay, so we are starting a new semester. So if you have any classes that are different for the second semester, you're going to kind of have to do a rollover of sorts. Just making sure your new rooms are published and ready to go. So just like you did at the start of the school year, um, you're going to log into Thrillshare.com. You're going to log in with Google with your PG Tigers email. Um, and that will give you this. You should have a rooms tab on the side. And under rooms, you can go to all rooms and it'll show you what rooms you currently have. It probably shows you what you had last semester. If any of these, it'll have published up here. If one of these is, say, this test class, say this was only a fall semester class and it doesn't apply to the spring, you don't need it anymore. Um, you can just go into that class, go to settings, and you're going to want to unpublish. Unpublish. That way it'll just clean things up. It'll make things more accurate for what's active and what's not. It also will remove it from those students and guardians feed on their end so they don't get confused and not know um, what classes they're really in. If you unpublish something and then you go, oh no, I actually kind of want that one back, you can always just drop down on status, go to unpublished, go back to settings and publish, or as you see when it came up, it'll say this class is unpublished and you can just hit publish. Um, so for any spring semester classes that are new, if you have an elective course that switches over, it's only a semester long class, so you're going to have a new group of kids that this semester, um, or um, just a completely different class in the spring, or maybe this applies for probably a lot of athletics. So now the spring athletics, you might have already had it set up in the fall for preseason training and stuff, but you're going to want to go into your all rooms new, and then you want to name your room. Um, you need to name them specifically, make it easier to find. So you would want to put, um, for example, um, you do East, second period, Delgado. You want to put the name of the class period, and your last name for high school. Um, like at elementary, or no one in elementary is probably making a new room for the second semester, but you'd want to put like K at the beginning for kindergarten, Miss so and so, Miss so whoever's classroom it is. So you'll want to name it, and then you'll select which campus you're at. You can do room color. This really is like a small line at the top, so it's nothing significant. You can always change it. Um, you can toggle on any of these. Um, you can turn on collaborative features. I mean, you can just say who's allowed to comment on your posts. Like when you put something on the announcement page, you can say only other staff in your class can comment back, only students or students and staff, guardians, so on and so forth. Um, and then behavior, you can turn that on if you've been using that, but that's mostly at elementary and middle school. So once you've done that, you can come down here and you will find your class by roster. All the rosters should be synced in already for the new semester. Um, let's see. What's a class? let's see, welding. So you would just click on, you can search by your name. Let's see, I'm pretty sure it comes up by name. Yeah. Like if I search Clint, and you could see all of Clint Hill's classes. So you can just search your name and it'll show you your rosters that are coming over from eSchool. And you can just select whichever one it needs to be. To double check, like if you have multiple that are called the same thing, you can do CL12 and it'll show you the roster over here. So you're like, okay, yep, I need that roster, and that one is my second period. So you would just add that in there. If you need to add any co-teachers or anyone individually, you can go over here to users and search them. So he could add Mrs. Hale in there, so that they're both in there. Um, when you add people individually, like if you went through and added students individually, maybe for athletics or a club, or maybe you just did your class that way, that's totally fine as well. Just know if a student drops or joins into your class, you're going to have to go back and edit participants later to add them or remove them. If you have your class added through rosters, your roster should automatically update with eSchool. It should sync with eSchool. It's supposed to resync about every 24 hours. Sometimes when new students are come to Prairie Grove or something like that, it could take a few days for them to come through on the system, but um, your roster should automatically update throughout the semester, so you shouldn't have to go back and do anything. But once you have it created, the right roster, who you want in there, it's named, you'll hit publish now. And then your class will be published. And you'll see your students all over here. It shows the student, has the guardian underneath. If you ever want to say you needed to message Cambry's guardian, you'd see them over here under participants. And where it has her guardian, you would just hit this little airplane and it would send you to messages and it would have her in there already. You can send a message there. Um, if, like I was saying, if you needed to edit participants at any time, you would go into your class and do these three little dots, edit participants, and you can either exit out, change the roster, or go to individual users and find whoever you need or remove someone. Anything like that. And then you always want to hit save changes when you do that. Um, you can integrate a Google Classroom in here. You can go back and tweak your name, your color. You can go back and change these features. Here's where you'll put all your materials. You can create folders, add individual links or files. Info. This would probably be a good place to paste in maybe your class syllabus for the semester, intro to the course. And then feed, this is where you make announcements to your class. And you can do attachments. And you can also make a post and post it to several classes. So if you teach a certain class and you teach it second, third, and sixth hour, so kind of each of those classes are all going to have a test on Friday, you can make an announcement about reminder about a test on Friday, attach a study guide, and then you can go through and say send it to those three classes, and you can post that now or you can schedule it out. So you just, if a certain day you have some time, you could go through and just schedule out several posts in your class, several announcements, just to keep yourself consistent and active, and um, reminding students and guardians of things that are coming up and what is happening in your classroom. Um, And then one more thing, just a reminder about messages. So I showed you how over here in a class you could hover over someone, do the little airplane, and it would start a message with them. This year, messages is a separate tab over here under rooms. So you hit messages. You'll see all your old messages. You can start a new thread or do new up at the top. And it shows you, you can see every single student, every single guardian, um, every single staff member, because you can message students maybe that you are tutoring, maybe have intervention with, maybe they're just in a club with you. You can message any student regardless if they're registered in a room that you have. So you can search any student. You can go by rooms. So if you go by rooms, like it'll show you your second period class, like these are the people in your second period. You could drop down and it shows the parents. You can select a parent. So add someone else from my room, from my second hour. And I want to add the other parent, or you can select multiple, add all those contacts. Yeah, so that's how you message anyone. And this is just a good, secure way that keeps record to protect you and any guardians regarding just personal messaging. Yeah, so if you have any questions, sometimes if you have errors, you can always use this little chat box at the bottom. They are very quick to respond and very helpful. I use it a lot personally, asking the questions. You can see I did one 2 hours ago. So always use that, but then you can always reach out and ask me if you have any questions or need any help with your rooms. So hope we have a great spring semester.